Greetings everyone, my name is Flair Bliss and welcome to I Was the Cat. You ever had a bad day? Like a really bad day? Well, today you have. Work sucks, your partner sucks, and you think maybe life isn't worth it until an angel bumps into you. And just like that, you have a whole new purpose in life. This is a visual novel that is made in the Yandere Jam of 2023. There will be a link down in the description below where you'll be able to purchase this game for yourselves to play for yourselves. New game. There will be a link in the description below. Please choose your name. My name will be, obviously, Flair. Please name the object of your association. Microphone. If I can spell correctly. I walked down crowded sidewalks in a daze. People passed. They'd get out of my way or I'd move them out of my way with my telekinesis. One look at my face and nobody wants to speak to me. I'm not sure why that would be the case. One's face is not what you would call deterring. They didn't need to be noticed by the girl with no life behind her eyes. The girl who was talking to herself as she walked.
Is this anger?
Anger, despair, emptiness?
No. Anger is too soft. What about rage then?
Rage.
No. Too explosive.
Somewhere in between? I paused for a moment to contemplate the emotions wailing up inside me.
Perhaps resentment?
Could be along those lines.
Do I resent the fact that I'd spent, wasted months with this
With this?
traitor?
Ooh, what happened?
I can't believe him. He even had the gall to say that he had never felt anything for me. That we were just friends.
Ouch, that's really hurtful when it comes to like relationships. When you really learn that your partner that you entrusted did not return the same feelings back to you.
Friends? Friends? Would a friend put so many hearts in her messages? Would a friend say good morning every morning and good night every night? How many friends tell their pals to have sweet dreams before they go to sleep?
There are facades, you know. People put on a facade for these kind of things.
So, okay. Maybe I'm a little resentful. More than a little upset. But
But,
how could he leave me like this?
to this,
I've nothing. A dead-end job at a company I despise. I took this stupid job just to be closer to him. I moved here just to be closer to him.
and yet,
I've no friends here. No prospects. No future. Fuck. What am I going to do now? I'll be lucky to make rent this week.
as I kept walking, autopilot kicked in, and before I knew it, the scenery had changed around me. Lost in my own head, I didn't even notice as I stepped down the blurry cement stairs to the bowels of the concrete tunnels below.
Hell, I'll be lucky to have a job next week after that screw-up today.
Ouch.
I still can't believe John threw me under the bus like that.
Okay, so what exactly did he do? Is that John? His eyes are rather covered up.
Coward.
Censored.
The least he could have done was share the blame since he's the one who dropped the ball. But no. He blamed the whole thing on me.
Obviously he wants to preserve his place at the job, so therefore he would drop everything on you. Manipulating cowards! Ding dong! Without realizing it, I had dragged my phone across the ticket scanner and the entry turnstile turned. I was in a train station. Not even the sounds of the screeching tracks, blares of train horns and announcement loudspeakers could penetrate the mist that entrapped my mind descent into this depression spiral.
What's the point of even going on?
There's always a point. No matter how dark it looks, there is always a point.
I'm just going to keep screwing up. I have no hope. No future.
With that thought filling my mind, I looked up. There, right in front of me, the train tracks. One simple quick solution. It was almost, no, do not resort to that. That is the easy way out. Just a few steps and I wouldn't have to worry about any of it anymore. Don't resort to that. Not him, not work, nothing. For the first time in days, a weary smile crossed my lips. Before I had any time to contemplate the consequences, I felt the foreshadowing rumble of the train. Step. I was only 2 steps from the yellow line. 4 steps and I'd be free. Step. No time to waste. No time to think. Step. So close. Step. Thump. Bam.
Ow!
Oh, a pressure hit my shoulder, and I lost my balance, falling back onto the hard cement of the platform. I looked up to see what rammed into me, just as the train pulled into the station. Thank goodness for that pressure. Hello?
An angel?
An angel, you say?
Be more careful next time.
Oh, great. That is the object association. I didn't realize this would be the thing. I guess from now on, dear, you're going to be called Microphone. You're going to be our voice. Before I knew it, she was gone, vanished into the crowd of onlookers as I stared dumbly after her.
She was beautiful.
Both of you are.
And she saved me? Me?
Yep.
This must be a sign.
A wonderful sign.
Yeah, that's it. I found my purpose. Her.
Those hearts in her eyes. 10 days
Hey, it's me, Paul,
later.
from HR. We haven't seen you in a few days, and just wanted to make sure you were all right. We expect to hear from you by tomorrow, or we'll have to move on with the process. Thank you for understanding.
Ah, Paul from HR, huh? We have not been in contact with them since encountering the angel.
Hey, it's John. Where the hell are ya? We're never gonna get this project done in time at this rate. Call me back as soon as you get this.
Hello again, it's Paul. I just was calling to inform you that due to several unapproved absences, we will be terminating your employment, effective immediately.
Yep. I think that was as planned. Ah, cat ears. I paced through the station again and back to the same platform I'd been patrolling for the last 2 hours, my eyes tracing the silhouette of each person in the crowd, trying desperately to find one person. Her.
Where is she? It's been almost 2 weeks, and I've been here every day, all day long.
Damn it, Flair, what are you up to?
Not a single sign of her.
I let out a long, drawn-out sigh and sank to the floor. At least I hadn't been back to that hellish place in days.
I guess I never have to go there again, if their phone calls are any indication.
Yeah, if they stop, then the last one is definitely the one that would convey the final
I
message.
don't get it, though. I'm sure this is where she saved me.
I raised a hand to my lip and bit the side of my thumb. It was a habit I'd pick up after quitting smoking years ago. When my anxiety spiked, it helped me calm a little. Was a little blood traded for serenity? But serenity didn't come. Letting out a grumble, I sat down on the bench behind me and threw my head into my hands.
What if she doesn't work in this district after all? What if she was just visiting and I can't find her?
She'll be there in your times of desperation.
No. I can't think like that. I will find her. I must.
It is your purpose after all. With renewed determination, I lifted my head. And there she is. Before I could even start scanning the crowd, there she was. She didn't seem to be paying attention to anything around her, and I just knew this was the moment I had to act. Otherwise, my prey would be forever lost. No thoughts, just motion. Or maybe we're the quote-unquote Yandere in this tale. I knew what I had to do. I spent my nights preparing for this moment. I walked towards her, the girl who filled my dreams. Not too fast so I'd trip off other people. Just walking casually. Almost there. Slip. I got it.
And I was so close I could smell her perfume.
In my hand was a wallet. It was small and rectangular. Good for nothing more than a few cards and... Oh my god. Inside a small change pocket of a wallet was a key.
This couldn't be what I think it is. Could it?
What could it be? In a different scene now, confident in my stride, I walked down the sidewalk, only slowing as I reached the street my destination was on.
Now that I know who she is and where she lives, I can return this.
Yeah, you could say that you accidentally bumped her, and when she saved you from quote-unquote demise, you can say that you dropped this while you were saving us. There we go, perfect plan, Flair, for goodness sakes. Your genius knows no bounds. I handled the small wallet I had taken from her with a level of reverence reserved only for the most precious things. Like a holy relic I know I shouldn't have, but desperately do not want to let go of. I could already feel my heart beating faster as I thought about what I was going to do. I was practically skipping from giddiness.
Whoa, calm down. No suspicious eyes.
Exactly. Your eyes are not suspicious whatsoever, nor are your cheeks.
Let's go over the plan one more time.
What is the plan then?
I'll just go to her apartment while she's at work. Let myself in.
And I brought my hands up to my mouth and squealed. I could feel a type of manic energy creep into the fringes of my thoughts. It was only the third time that it had happened since last night.
And leave her key and wallet on the kitchen counter.
Yeah, because she'll wonder how that got there.
Now that I have a copy, of course.
God damn it. God damn it. It's gonna be this kind of thing. I laughed excitedly and practically ran the last few feet of a large apartment building that housed the woman I love. Oh dear. The door opened into a very modern looking room that split off into two hallways. Neither mattered to me, however. I had eyes only for the elevator, offset slightly to the right, in the wall directly across from mine. I approached the doors and gently pressed the button the up button, then quickly darted a glance down each of the hallways. Every creak and tick of the building filled me with anxiety as I waited for the elevator. If someone spotted me, they could call the police. I'd be arrested for trespassing. I didn't live here after all, but yet you're doing this. What if they told her? What if she found out about me being here? It'd be all over for me. All over again. It felt like forever, waiting for the inevitable Dean and the doors to separate. Ding dong! As soon as they were open enough for me to fit in the space between them, I slipped inside. Quick as I could, I spun around and started pressing the door close button on rapid fire. Years of gaming have prepared me for this moment. Button mashing. Yes, I know it doesn't make the doors close any faster, but in my head, it makes me feel that they do. No, I don't care. It made me feel a little less anxious. The doors finally closed, and I pressed the button for the 4th floor.
Deep breaths. In and out. Calm down. You're fine.
Yep, definitely fine. My breaths became less labored and slowed as the elevator ascended.
I hate it when that happens. Absolutely ridiculous.
Ding.
Finally.
Finally to our destination. The doors parted and opened out into a hallway identical to the ones on the first floor, but without the lobby. I have no space to hide here. I am all exposed. I sauntered out of the elevator, doing my best to give off the impression that I belonged here and that I was not internally freaking out.
Let's see. 4th floor, apartment 20. Here's apartment 17, 18, 19, and ta-da! Apartment 20.
20.
Okay. Let's see.
How does this key work? I took the wallet from my bag, which is definitely not my wallet, and held it aloft in my hands. I'd miss being able to hold it. I ran my fingers along its edge, relishing in the feel. My eyes closed and I sighed deeply.
One day, I'll touch the real thing. Until then, the memory of this moment will simply have to do.
I licked my lips and bit down on my bottom lip until it slipped from under my teeth. I gasped. Dane! Yanked from my reverie, my head swiveled back toward the elevator. The wallet slipped from my grasp, and hit the floor with a light thud.
Huh? Shit.
What's going on then? I knew there was nowhere to hide, so I had no choice. I had to run. I took off down the hallway, praying that whoever it was would disappear. Into an apartment? Into the abyss. I didn't care, only that they wouldn't find me. I reached the end of the hallway quick enough and made a tight turn to the left. Another hallway stretched out before me, full of apartment doors. I had more important things to wonder about than the layout of the building. However, as I snuck a peek around the corner from which I fled, where I stood just seconds before, it was her. Hello there. Oh gosh, why was she here? She should be at work. Exactly, but yet here we are. Ravishing the moment.
Oh, she's every bit as lovely as I remember.
The words tumbled from my mouth. I couldn't help but whisper to myself. I covered my mouth to stifle any other noises I dared to escape.
Oh, what's this?
Hello, microphone. Oh no, the wallet. Sheesh. She bent at the wrist. Graceful as a swan reaching for the telltale wallet on her doorstep. Bam.
Ow.
Ooh. I guess she wasn't watching where she was going and had accidentally hit the doorknob with her forehead just barely above her right eyebrow, sorry. Oh, how I longed for the rush to her, to cradle her wounded head in my arms and kiss away her pains. But I had to remain steadfast. She didn't even know me yet. She'd be terrified if I came for her now. I had to be patient.
My wallet. Someone must have brought it back to me.
Yep. The glee in her voice made my heart soar.
Thank you, kind stranger.
You can come out now, kind stranger. My breath caught in my throat.
Oh, my love. I would do anything for you.
I dared not look again, but I could hear her key slide into the lock on her door before it opened. A second later it closed and I could breathe a sigh of relief. Still, the threat of discovery loomed and I made my way back to the elevator as quickly as I could. I couldn't risk the possibility of her coming back out of the apartment while I was there, or I couldn't be certain I'd be able to censor my desires. Several days had passed since that encounter. I'd been too much of a chicken to go back and try again. After all, the last attempt had gone and blown up in my face. Not only had I not managed to get into her apartment and set up a camera or not managed to, goodness sakes, or a single listening device, but I hadn't even had the chance to properly return the wallet.
I guess maybe it isn't the worst result. She didn't see me and now she doesn't even know I exist. Wait, Damn it. She doesn't even know I exist. So, to rectify that, I have a new plan.
And what would that plan be, dear protagonist? And that's how I end up here again, with a bouquet of flowers in my hands, a small note attached to it to read, from a secret admirer.
I don't even have to get inside this time. I just have to leave them on her doorstep, just like with the wallet.
Damn.
That'll be enough.
Yeah, that'll be enough for her to recognize my existence.
I hope.
The bouquet has a nice assortment of flowers in it. Red roses for love, carnations for confessions, a single sunflower for adoration, and finally a few red and pink camellias for devotion and longing. Some of my favourites. They made me think of her. I walked slowly, methodically even. Every step felt like lead weights were strapped to my legs. As much as I wanted to reach my destination, I still worried about what awaited me there. The flowers were a good choice. I couldn't simply turn and run, or they would die and the money I spent on them would be wasted. I could only borrow so much from my parents before that particular well runs dry. I can't dawdle forever, so I devised a few tricks to better my chances. The building loomed over me, a portent of things to come. It's menacing enough, pushing me away like two ends of a magnet.
No. That's just your anxiety talking. You'll be fine.
You'll be absolutely fine. Before my mental state could get any worse, I hurried my step and let myself in the front doors as quickly as I could. The interior hadn't changed at all since I was last here, but I felt a lot less insecure as I headed straight for the elevator. Maybe it was because I had been here before? Or was it because the last time I was here I got to see my beloved's face? I got into the elevator without being accosted by any of the other residents and began my ascent to the upper levels of the apartment complex. A quick ding and I'm out of the elevator and onto the 4th floor again. And here we are. I resumed the slow, almost pensive walk I had outside as I left the elevator and for the second time traversed the narrow hallway. As I passed the third apartment, number 19, my blood ran cold. Ahead of me was the door to apartment 20, the apartment my love lived in, and the door handle was turning. My greatest fear and deepest desire all wrapped up into one moment, and it was happening in front of me. The door creaked open before me, and she stepped out. Her hair swished as she turned back to the door to close it, and I could smell her perfume waft faintly from these few feet away. Oh my god, I'm close enough to smell her. She was as beautiful as I remembered, her hair simmering like bronze as it flowed down her shoulders and back. This is the first time I noticed how much shorter than me she was. The perfect height to bend down and kiss. I could still feel like I was in control at my most vulnerable moment. She really was perfect. Hi there, she turned to me then, and saw the flowers in my hands. I froze, all my muscles locking up and going rigid. Her mouth, her perfect soft lips, opened and curved upwards into the biggest smile I'd ever seen.
Oh my god, those are gorgeous.
But these are definitely gorgeous, aren't they?
Must be for someone really special.
Yep. You're that special someone.
Yeah, they are.
Aw, nobody's ever gotten flowers for me before. I wish someone would. I'd really love that.
She'd love them? I couldn't let this opportunity pass me by. I pushed the flowers out in front of me.
Here, I want you to have them. They'd mean so much to you after all.
Aww. I could feel the heat flood my face. What was I doing?
What? No, I couldn't.
How comes?
Please, they're yours.
Aww. I pressed the flowers into her arms, not willing to take no for an answer. With one final look into her eyes to let her know that I meant what I said, I turned and fled back to the relative safety of the elevator. Damn. As the elevator doors closed, I collapsed onto the floor.
Why doesn't anything ever go the way I plan?
Because you're too anxious. That is why I couldn't hold it back anymore. There in a heap on the elevator floor for the first time in years, I started to cry. I casually strolled down the street, doing my best impression of incognito.
I could pretend I was in this part of town for totally innocent reasons, like shopping or eating or, I don't know, visiting friends? What do people who aren't in love do with their time?
Play video games. Whatever.
Anyway, I could pretend, but no. I'm here because she's here. And I'm truly worried for her.
You're truly worried for her? How comes?
I've been following her every time she's left her house for days now. All day long. Once, I even managed to trail her most of the way through her office before I got nervous about being caught and backed off.
Yeah, so this game, if you have not figured out by now, has some stalking tendencies by a protagonist.
The last thing I need is the cops on my ass.
Yep, exactly.
Anyway, back to the point. She is a mess. An oh so very hot mess. But still a mess.
So far, she had narrowly avoided being hit by a car twice, slipped off a curb and barely avoided falling on her face in the middle of the road once, ran into not one but two different street light poles, and had her wallet stolen by a pickpocket. Are we that pickpocket? All that has happened just today. I got her wallet back. From the pickpocket, I mean. She didn't recognize me when I bumped into her and slipped it back into her bag. Rather glad I practiced that for as long as I did when I first started following her. And the thief won't be a problem for anyone else anytime soon. Not as long as I'm here. I'll protect her like her own guardian angel.
My thoughts are so easily derailed today.
Yep. As I thought about all the accidents she'd had throughout the day, she went into a building up ahead. It was a nice little diner, not too busy. Would make a cute date spot.
Wait. She's so oblivious. What if?
What if? With no second thoughts, I walked into the diner. There she sat, 3 booths away from me, facing in the opposite direction of the door. She had her phone in her hand, and I could see over her shoulder that she was perusing the menu.
Moment of truth. Am I really about to do this?
Yes, go forth and claim your destiny.
Fuck it.
Okay. I walked down the aisle of tables as I reached hers, then sat down right across the table. In front of me was a QR code I quickly scanned with my phone. The webpage read, "This diner is currently running an experimental format. Order your food through this menu and it will be delivered to you when it is completed. You will not have to interact with anyone while you are here unless you choose to." This is the way society is going nowadays. Like, there'll be a time where we will not be talking to anyone, but it will just be automated. I perused the menu with her across from me. We were doing an activity together. My heart did a little pitter-patter, and I took a deep breath to calm it. After looking over the menu, they offered the usual diner fare. I put in an order for the traditional set of milkshake and fries. I submitted the order, then sit back with a breath to take in my surroundings. It was a moderately busy diner with usual checkered floor, chrome ceiling fans, and chrome and red bar stools. The red booths were sat in glittered under the diffused incandescent lighting. I don't know how to pronounce that word. My eyes made their way back to her. I'd never been so close to her. It was an overcast day. despite it being fairly worn out. A sudden break in the clouds streamed sunlight into the diner. It bathed her in ethereal light, just like when she saved me. The motes of light around her sparkled like a halo, and her brown, sun-kissed hair looked like a curtain of light framing her face perfectly. She was not only a warm presence here and now, but the light of my life encapsulated into a single being. I could feel myself heat up, both from the sun and from the rush of blood to my cheeks. I watched her fan herself, and as suddenly as it appeared, the sun retreated behind the clouds again. As if her discomfort beckoned the sun to hide himself, lest it make her any more uncomfortable. Wait a minute, where did himself come from? The food arrived and, perfectly divided on either side of the table. She never even had to look up from her phone that she'd been engrossed in the whole time. Great. She ate with slow movements, and even then, nearly bit her own fingers a few times. Once her fries were gone, she plopped her basket of chicken tenders on the empty fry boat. I blinked, realizing my own milkshake was melting. I, as quietly as possible, nibbled on my food, and she raised her basket of chicken tenders. I wish I was in that basket of chicken tenders. It suddenly occurred to me that she might see me when she finished eating. My heart suddenly jumped in my throat. The aisle was clear, so I carefully scooched out of the booth and beelined to the bathrooms. Not 2 seconds later, I saw her look up from her empty basket and phone and eyed my food. She checked out her phone and left. The next day, she walked down the train platform just like the first time I saw her. She was getting a little better at sometimes watching where she was going. This time she only bumped into 4 people from the time she entered the platform to the time she got to the bench she would sit and wait on. I leaned up against the wall to watch her from a distance. A man sat down on the bench next to her. He was basic, boring, like every other person in the station. At least that's what he wanted everyone to think. I'd seen him before.
That little shit.
Or is he the one that just called you your friend? It was the pickpocket from the day of our lunch date. I pushed myself off the wall and stalked over to the bench. My rule since I met her was to stay under the radar, to make her love me from a distance, to never make my presence known, to stay in the shadows and love her and protect her and take care of her. I was about to break my rule. As I reached the bench, the train pulled into the station. Her attention was drawn to the train. When she got up to get on the train, she didn't even notice the man next to her being dragged away by his wrist. Oh, what's going on here?
Fuck! Get off me, you crazy bitch!
Oh dear, what's going on here? I turned then, and he saw my face for the second time. Recognition crossed his features, and the realization of his situation came just as I slammed him up against the hard concrete wall of the station. I held his arm above his head, my grip forceful and unrelenting. I looked deep into his eyes. There was fear there.
I see you remember me. That's good. It makes what comes next easier.
How does it make it easier? Slowly I twisted my hand around his wrist until I could grab the man's thumb at its base.
I know what you're doing. You're even following in my first steps.
I applied pressure at the base of his thumb with my own, and at the tip of his thumb with the rest of my hand.
What are you talking about?
Shh. You don't have to say anything. I know your intentions. I know your ambitions, and I will put them to rest.
What are you talking about? I twisted my wrist. Crunch. Ooh. He cried out in pain, his eyes full of fear. I don't know whether his thumb broke or was simply dislocated. I didn't particularly care. I wanted him to associate her with me, and to associate me with this feeling right here. This suffering. It wasn't enough. How dare he have attention of the one that I love? I took his next finger in my hand, thumb at the base, and the rest of my fingers at its side. This one wouldn't dislocate.
She is mine.
Please, no.
Crunch. Damn, he sank to the ground. I let him fall, but not before I took the third finger on the same hand into mine. Gosh, the scent of urine wafted up from where he sat on the ground. I loomed over him and took hold of his chin with my free hand. I turned his head up to meet my eyes. There was no pity or mercy to be found in my gaze. Only conviction.
If I see you again,
There'll be more.
You won't.
shut up. Another word, another finger. Do you understand?
No. He nodded frantically.
If I see you again, your fingers will be the least of the things I break.
Oh no, is that a knife you're holding?
Now get out of my sight.
I turned away and returned to the platform to begin the process of figuring out where she had gone. Oh, I wanted to walk her home. Yeah, very obsessive behavior. Up on the city streets, the night air was cool and crisp. The chill was a welcome companion. It helped me calm down following the encounter in the subway. In the fantastical world of games, when you have the trace of a Yandere, you somehow gain inhuman powers.
I really don't have a choice, do I?
I sighed as I came to terms with what I was going to have to do. On the bright side, I could still do this on my terms. Hopefully this plan didn't go to hell like the rest of them had. The next day.
One way or another, this is the last time I'm coming back here full of anxiety. After today, this will be home.
This will be home, huh? Steeling my nerves, I pulled open the door and walked into the apartment building. Oh gosh, we're really doing this. I practically dashed away across the lobby. I wasn't going to have another panic attack. I swore to myself that today was the day. The elevator opened and I slid between the doors, spun on my heels, and pressed the button for the 4th floor.
Here we go again. Third time's a charm.
Yep, as they say, third time is the charm. The double doors closed and the elevator began its ascent. As I waited for my awaiting doom, I considered why I came in the first place. She's so fragile, so small. She needs someone strong like me to protect her, even if it seems the person I'll be protecting her from most is herself. Oh, the doors opened and, like a sign from God, there she was. Oh, there she stepped into the elevator with all the grace I expected of her, which is to say she bumped into the doors on the way in, stumbled, and almost fell directly on top of me. Damn, how I wish she had fallen on top of me. I could have saved her and...
Wasn't this your floor?
I stepped out of my momentary daydream to see her holding the door open button.
Your special someone lives on this floor, don't they?
You're my special someone. She smiled and then, and the anxiety I had before was washed away. It was instead replaced by a calm determination. I knew what I had to do. Now it was the time to do it.
Yeah, they do. But I forgot something downstairs, so you can close the door. Thanks, though.
Exactly. She allowed the door to close and took a step away from the panel next to me. As soon as the elevator descended, I took a step forward. I'd been on it enough times and knew how long it took for it to go between floors. When it was between the 2nd and 3rd floor, I pressed the emergency stop button. What? I turned back towards her.
I'm sorry it had to be this way.
Ooh.
You were supposed to be in your apartment when I got upstairs.
Ooh.
I'm sorry? What do you mean?
Exactly.
You're the special person. Those flowers, they were for you. I saw you at the train station and you were so beautiful. You were there when I had nobody and needed someone.
Damn.
I've followed you for weeks. I know everything about you. I think you need me as much as I need you.
Damn. Her face seemed apprehensive at first, like this wasn't the first time she had heard all of this.
So, I know it's weird because you just met me, but you'll be my girlfriend, right? I promise I'll take care of you.
Aw, I see the heart there. She smiled a new smile. While I hadn't seen her the entire time I'd been following her, this was the smile of someone who had won.
Of course I'll be your girlfriend, silly. What do you think all of this was for?
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Don't worry about it, sweetheart. Let's just go back upstairs.
I'd like that.
Hey, mission accomplished. Good work. Yank. With that, she stepped forward, took my hand, and pulled me closer to her. With her other hand, she pressed a button to take us to the fourth floor. I turned my head to watch her hand as she did. When I turned my head back to face, I was met with her lips on mine. Aww. Aww. I didn't know how to react, and none of my plans had prepared me for this. I never thought I'd get this far, let alone that she'd be so aggressively intimate. But you're not going to reject, are you now, protagonist? My heart pounded in my ears and my breath caught in my throat. I liked it. I kissed her back. Finally, after so many weeks of torturing myself and following her, finally, everything was right with the world. Finally, she was mine, and I was hers. Because there was a new job. 3 p.m.
Everything
work.
had been too easy. A tip here, and she's broken-hearted. A bribe there, and her job becomes a living hell.
Oh dear. What's going on here? Aw, is she looking for me? Our first visit. Gave you
The
flowers.
suicide attempt was a scare, but I took care of that myself.
Yep, sure did. This is from the perspective of our partner, which we named microphone because there's an object association, and when we went at the beginning of the game, he forgive me.
Cashing in a favor from a friend, and we get an easy test just to see how far her love goes. I still feel a little guilty that she broke 2 of his fingers, but he forgave me.
Wow. Okay. Then there's again, my precious. My precious.
She's such a good girl. She'd do anything for me. She loves me. And I love her. My little mouse.
We was the cat and now we're the mouse. Is that how it goes? And... oh, that's it. That's the game. Like, we were given the prospect that we'll be here for about 1.5 hours with 6,500 words. But that is a nice, sweet little tale. Although the tale itself is definitely what you'd call overlapped with Yandere / stalking tendencies. So just a little careful there when it comes to any kind of real life practices when it comes to these sort of things. Because, dare I say it, there are probably people like that out there that follow others for any kind of purposes, even though those purposes might not even be that fruitful, they're still there at some kind of the end of the day, Finn. So that is I Was the Mouse. So let's see, we have 6 different images. The first one, which she was overlapped with both nervousness and love. This one here, she didn't even notice that we were here, or perhaps she did, but she just chose not to give any leeway. Knife. 3 p.m. at work. Is that also work over on the right? I presume it is. Oh no. What's going on there? Oh, she's looking for me. Our first visit. My poor little meow meow. She gave me flowers. And he'll forgive me. And stuff like... Oh, this was at a train station, actually. The thing that allowed us to be able to catch onto her gaze for the very first time. So that is, I was the cat, I was the mouse, I was something, but this is definitely a tale in and of itself. So please check out the game for yourselves in the description below. I'm sure the developer will be very happy if you both play the game and also commented on your experience as well. I quite like this tale. It's a tale of pursuing something that makes you happy in a way, even though the nature behind it can be considered a bit of a stalkish nature. But in some cases of love, that is how it is presented in and of itself. It's not just one kind of love, there's multiple kinds of love. And how you reach the destination point where you are with the person that you've dreamt of and the person that you want to be with ever since you've known them. They all have different kind of divergences, but the inevitable result could always be the inevitable outcome of you both being together. Thank you so much for watching, and see you all in the next video, whenever it may be. Thank you so much for watching, and take care of yourselves.